Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. As always, I invariably say it, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. But we also thank God for every other day. Okay then, winding down for the weekend. Let's see, we were just thinking, there's something called, a lot of you will already know about it, there's something called the Lagos City Master Plan. And that's because Lagos is a mega city, and it's not going to be like any other city, let it be said. But this does take organization, and this will take, some upheavals here and there. Naturally, those that are concerned will, speak up and see if there is anything that can be done to maintain the status quo. So far, government has said that, look, guys, we carry everybody along. We have to do this. Lagos has to become what it was, planned to be, a mega city. And so there's a model city, but there are complaints. Now, I have in front of me here Comrade Adeni Ojukwu. Comrade Ojukwu is, his base is in the Computer Village. He's president of the Computer Village. So he's one of those, his organization is one of those that might possibly be affected by this. There are all sorts of speculations going on, favoritism, preferential treatment, people are going to take away our bread and give it to somebody else. So now we said, look, we happen to know the Commissioner for the Environment has put out a statement, the Commissioner for Information has put out a statement. So I thought we should set the scene by, first of all, reaching into the ministry. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them to be with us. Reaching into the Ministry of Information, where Mr. Steve Ayonde is the Commissioner, and find out what's the progress plan. Could you give us a brief progress plan, an update on developmental work on the Lagos Mega Model City project? In fact, I hear that we have the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Steve Ayonide, on the line. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Steve. Hello. Mr. Commissioner, Steve Ayonide, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Mr.
Good morning. Good morning, Steve. Thank you very much for taking time off to join us. I was just saying, in case you didn't hear it, that the Lagos Model City project that your government is working on,
yes.
First of all, I imagine, in fact, I would take for granted that it is very much on course. But I'd like you to give us, if you can, a very brief progress report. I ask that because we have some people who perhaps don't quite understand it and think that they are going to be hard done by, and that some people are going to be favored, and those kind of things. Particularly, for instance, one of them, and just one of them, it happens to be the Computer Village Allied Products Dealers Association. Could you tell me,
yes.
sir? Could you tell me, sir? Give us a progress report on the Mega Model City project of Lagos State.
Okay. Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. As you know, Lagos is divided essentially into 5 administrative centers, Ikeja being the capital city, yeah. And each of the 5 administrative, centers, has a master plan, which 5 years ago was revisited to entail a 25-year plan.
Okay.
So you've got the Ikeja Model City Master Plan, you've got for Ekpe, you've got for Lagos Island, you've got for Ikorodu, and of course you've got for Badagry.
Okay.
This year, each of those master plans were reviewed, and essentially it is to address the yearnings of residents largely. You'll be shocked by the number of complaints and petitions that government receives on a daily basis, largely to address the issue of residential properties, residential areas being converted to commercial purposes without approval. And what we did this year after the review was to spell out clearly areas that should remain residential.
Okay.
And the area where the computer village in Ikeja happens to be cited, as part of the areas that are solidly designated as residential areas.
Okay.
Because the issue of the eventual relocation of the computer village to Katangwa Market has been on for a while, what the government has been doing is to engage with the leadership of the computer village and allied. I'm sure the part of the gentleman you have there is part of the leadership.
Okay.
The Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning, Architect Anne Foshe, has met with them not less than 3 times. The gentleman who is handling who is the concessionaire, because the market that we are taking them to in Katangwa is a PPP arrangement.
Okay.
The gentleman who is handling that concession has also met with them. I need to inform you that what we have in Katangwa is a 15-acre world-class proposed project where you will have a world-class ICT market. That is where we propose to take them to.
Okay.
On Notigba, where you have the computer village,
yes,
as of today, it is strictly a residential area. The residents feel violated by the fact that a full-fledged market is there, and you need to go there, on a good day to see the kind of hustling and bustling. When people complain that, government, what are you doing? Why are you looking away, in matters like this? This is the response of government, and it is not peculiar to Ikeja. As I said earlier, all the 5 old administrative centers, have their master plan project going on simultaneously.
Mr. Commissioner, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Along the lines of a residential area that has sort of evolved into a business district, I remember Adinro Gunsoya Street on Surulere as well.
Surulere.
It's a residential area, but I don't think there's anybody living on that street anymore. Can you comment on that?
Yes, I can, without a doubt. I mean, again, it's also a question of the way the government works is also to be in sync with the desires of the residents. And I didn't know Gonzaya will be pretty much similar to what we have in GRA, what we have in Lekki. And all those areas are being appraised and assessed at the same time. And then you need to look at the sort of commercial activities going on Adedino Gosaya. It's totally different from what you have with the computer village, where a series of homes have been turned into a similar type of activities, spilling into the street.
Yes.
And therefore, you won't have the same sort of answer that we have for computer village for, say, Adedino Gosaya, or for GRA, or for Lekki.
Okay.
It is easy to say what you are doing here is you're selling, ICT products. You're repairing, you're possibly manufacturing, etc. It's easy to bundle, to put everybody into a bundle and relocate them to a better place, similar to what we did in Noshodi, if you recall, 2 years ago, specifically January last year, when we had to move the Winifari market, where we're now having a world-class, bus terminal, which has since started. And relocated them to Sopakodowo. It's the same type of business, all in the same area. And we had an alternative provided, if you know what I mean.
Indeed.
So it's a lot different from what you have in Adedino Gosaya, which, by the way, is being addressed as indeed the one for GRA in Ikeja and Lekki on Abirati Way.
Okay.
Yes,
these are other areas that were primarily or originally residential, but have somehow evolved into sort of business centers.
Into commercial, ventures, but not necessarily into a market.
I see. That's the big difference.
Yes, that's a big difference.
And you seem to, you've said, Mr. Commissioner, that you also take input from the yearnings, aspirations of the residents.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it would seem that residents in the Otigba area must have been quite vocal in their concern.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt, with documentary evidence.
And then staying on this, the last question, Mr. Commissioner, thank you very much,
yes.
is that this whole rumor about a new ICT mall going up on Medical, I think it's now Medical Road, I think, either Symbiat or Medical Road.
Yeah.
Symbiat Abiola Road. Is that a rumor, or is that fact that your government has granted approval for a new ICT mall to come up?
It is patent falsehood.
I see.
And we have addressed it. A lie was sold to the gentlemen of the Computer Village.
Okay.
What we have there on the side of government essentially is a bus terminal which, we're going to commission in a matter of days. There is no approval whatsoever for an ICT mall there. It is not going to happen. It will not happen, and it has not been approved. It's a lie, and we would like the gentlemen of the Computer Village, as indeed the entire public, to disregard it. No approval whatsoever was granted for an ICT mall. What will happen will be on the 15-acre land in Katangwa, a PPP arrangement, which is a world-class ICT mall, which will happen. We're going to turn the sword later this year, in a matter of 15 to 16 or 18 months in the latest.
Okay.
That place will be ready.
Well, Steve Ayonide, Honorable Commissioner for Information.
Disturbing anybody, on Otigba in the meantime, because we have had series of meetings with them.
Okay.
But ultimately, we've been clear about the fact that they will need to move in the interest of the public good.
Indeed. Well, thank you very, very much, Mr. Steve Ayonide, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Lagos State. We appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So, Comrade Ojikutu Adeni, you are president of the Computer Village Product Dealers Association of Nigeria, and you heard it. You heard it. Most of this stuff you already know because we were speaking off air, and you said that, first of all, you probably can confirm that the government, through the appropriate agency, has been engaging with all the concerned parties there. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Okay. What are the areas of concern that you have? Because, I don't know, you would know better. He who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. It seems, just listening to that it's even going to be a much better place. Yes, there is change in that there is a change of location. Are you concerned that this might affect your business in terms of traders and all that kind of thing? What are your apprehensions?
Yeah, thank you very much. The truth is, Lagos State government, before now, since the time of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, through the time of Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola, on to this present time, the our amiable governor, Governor Akinwumi Ambode, the issue of Katangwa has always been there.
It's a long-term
plan. It's a long-term plan.
Yes, it's been there.
Okay, but to our surprise, April, when there was a inter-ministerial briefing at Lagos State, maybe press house or so in Alausa, it was widely reported that Computer Village is going to be relocated before December.
Okay.
That caused a lot of apprehension amongst the general buying public and our stakeholders in Computer Village. Okay. But we had an option. I, as the president, and my team. So the option we had was to first listen to the government, or probably eat the streets, or say
protest.
Protest, or we say we are IT people. We want to engage the government in the media war. But because we are IT savvy people.
Yes.
But, the leadership, my leadership now felt it's better we listen. And we now engaged the Commissioner for Planning, Alhaji Anifowoshe, with stakeholders in Computer Village, the Yorubas, the Igbos, the minorities. We had a, time out with him, and he broke it down. that this government is ready to build with, quoting his words, is building with people, not building for people. That whatever they have as a plan, they are going to involve the market stakeholders.
That sounds good.
That sounds good. And at that level, we now reported back to our people. We sent messages that people should continue to do their businesses. That whatever wants to happen, the government has given their words.
Yes.
That they are going to carry us along. We're fine. We are business people. But to our surprise, we now heard that, okay, an approval is given to some other people somewhere on Medical Road. And this caused a lot of apprehension.
But fortunately, it's one of the questions I asked the Honorable Commissioner, and you heard his response.
Yeah,
that it is patent falsehood.
Yeah, and they were going around, throwing around names that somebody is involved in the project and all that. But I want to thank the Commissioner for Planning, Alhaji Ani Fowoshe, because, and the peers, they took a very reasonable and mature stand. Each time we disturb them on this, you cannot, there is a legal maxim that says, non abribato reprobato. You cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. You cannot be blowing hot and cold.
Do you think government's doing that?
No. After, not until their clarification now.
Yeah, okay, now.
Now.
Oh, this program has given you added information.
Not before now. Let's say some 3 weeks back. So that they sent a letter to us affirming that that is still the government position. And our Honorable Commissioner for Information, Mr. Stephen Yorinde, to release the press statement. Indeed. Maybe Saturday stroke Sunday. And we're very cool with this because the government cannot be saying it wants to relocate the market. We didn't go to the government that we want to go to Katangwa. Yes,
but it also didn't go to the government to say that we want to turn Otigba residential area into a business sector.
Because Otigba has contributed to Africa, not only Nigeria. Otigba is an asset to Lagos State. Indeed.
So that is because of, not because it's a residential area, because it has evolved into a business center.
I can give you 1,001 of places that are turned to a market. So let's go to that, sir. What we should do is...
But sorry, the commissioner just explained that one of the inputs to decision forming in this particular case will be the residents of the area. You have no disagreement with the fact that Otigba started out as a residential area.
There is no dispute about that.
And that the residents there seem to have, cried to government, say, give us our residential area back.
So many other areas, I can give you examples still in Lagos. But what we are saying is that when the government now said, okay, we want to take you to Katangwa, and we are hearing a lot from grapevine, from a lot of sources, that an approval wants to be given to some other people to build a 1,000 capacity, shopping mall. They now tagged it ICT mall. So why you are telling us that you want to take us to Katangwa, you want to give approval, but when the government has cleared the air, we are very happy. If we want to go to Katangwa, give, everybody equal, opportunity to save towards the Katangwa project.
And what would that entail, for example?
We would discuss that with probably the banks and all that, because now these are economic, tough economic times. We cannot say people should bring, their capital to say they want to come and buy, because they pay rent here, to come and buy into Katangwa project or whatever. But we are talking with probably the developer and so many other commercial institutions, so that commercial banks, so that at it, if the message is going to be given to our people, people can always save in maybe 24 months to be able to probably acquire somewhere that they are going to probably own. This thing needs an advocacy. As a leader of the people, it's not something, just change is constant though, but it's something that people receive with a lot of feelings, psychological, economical, political. So, but we need serious advocacy and engagement. So
I hear you. I hear you, sir. This is a plan, as you said, that it didn't just start yesterday.
It didn't just start.
Mr. Yorinde was just telling us how it's been through a number of administrations. Governor Bola Tinubu, into Raji Fashola, into Ambode, and seeing that though the first two governors I mentioned spent 8 years each, it's been coming, for a long while. The residents are now, I imagine there are very, very few residents left in Otigba. I would just guess, not being a census officer or anything like that. So I imagine that it's now the landlords. I wonder if what the landlords are feeling. Maybe some landlords will be able to call in, because, well, the landlords will be seeing this very differently, because it's an income stream for them as well. Especially if there are no more residents. Before they had ordinary residents like you and I, but now they have these mega residents who pay much, much more than any individual would have wanted to pay. I wonder if the landlords are not part of the whole agitation for, no, we're not going to agree, let's try some more. We have someone, Mr. Lagoke is calling in from Mobile. Let's hear it from him. Good morning, Mr. Lagoke.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you too for having me. I've been watching your program. I'm happy. I'm a first-time caller.
Very nice to have you.
All right. I'm so happy to be part of this conversation. Okay. I want to say, for the government to be raising a point that residents of Computer Village are, raising their this that they want to come back, they want to turn that place to a residential area. I don't think that's that point is actually. I don't think that's the truth.
Okay, returning Otigba to its original status.
Yes, I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that's the truth.
How do you mean? Could you explain that a bit, please?
Yes, that's what I'm about to explain. Now, most of these residents that they are talking about. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Most of these residents that they are talking about, they actually left their homes. They left those houses voluntarily because of money. Because most of them, they left the houses there. Most of them turned themselves to tenants elsewhere because of the amount of money they are making from that place. So government now coming up, raising the point that these residents are now going back to them, that they want that place back as a residential environment. That's far from the truth.
Yeah, but sorry, sir. Residents not being landlords, unless that's what you mean. Residents can't make trouble because, as you said, unless you meant landlords.
Yes, I'm talking. Maybe I didn't use the right word. I'm referring to the landlord.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, I'm referring to the landlords. If they are saying the landlords of those areas are now disturbing them, asking them to come back, that they wanted to come back, that's far from the truth.
Okay.
Most of them, do you know what a 3-bedroom flat, what it costs there, what those people, the engineers in Computer Village are paying?
Mm-hmm.
They are paying a lot for that place, for the spaces they are using there. They are paying a lot. So I think government, they have their own plan. They should not use the residents as a yardstick for moving them.
Okay. But Mr. Lagoke, you heard the commissioner at the beginning of the program?
Yes.
Okay. And you heard about the model city, Lagos Model City project?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have any comments on that as a long-standing idea?
Yes, I don't have anything against. You see, all the developmental projects that this government as a partner since their inception has been very, very constructive. I give it to this government. Okay. I give it to Governor Ambode. The Third Mainland Bridge. I work on the Highlands. He has done a lot concerning even Third Mainland Bridge. Even if he's not performing again, for that Third Mainland Bridge alone, I can vote for him for the next election.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Okay.
But this Computer Village issue, see, for them to be coming out, my point is just I'm not against their relocation. I'm not against that. Do you understand? But the point they are raising, that point is where is what I'm against. That residents are clamoring for their coming back to come. They want to turn that place to a residence. No, that's far from the truth.
All right. Well,
that's far from the truth.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olagoke, for calling in. Sorry. Oh, he was going to add a further bit, but we didn't know. We clipped that. But by and large, I see that there was this nodding of approval as Mr. Lagoke was speaking. Would you say that he captured your feelings best?
Not particularly.
Okay, good.
The issue of relocation, as I've said, change is the most constant thing in life. And as we all can see, the present administration of our amiable Governor Akinwumi Ambode, it's thinking in a church manner, not in another analog manner. Now, this is a government that that wants to achieve giant strides, as we can see in terms of its vision, projection, and what have you for Lagos State. Now, if this government has that plan, two successive governments have not been able to achieve it, moving Computer Village to a more conducive. But the government is saying
your words, a more conducive environment.
A more conducive environment from the government's point of view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you've added a few more words.
Yeah, from government point of view. A more conducive.
Thereby dissociating yourself from that concept.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
I have my stand on this.
Okay.
So, and the point now is the people that are going to be affected, they have, a lot of feelings that I've mentioned, economical, political.
They also have rights.
And they have rights. Now, the government, from the point of view of the government, wants to achieve this, which is going to be good for the future of the largest ICT market in Africa, which is Computer Village. Now, my stand is that this market should not disintegrate. My stand, as Ojikutu Adeniyi, the president, or as an individual.
Yeah.
Because there will be a day I won't be the president again.
President of the Computer Village Product Dealers Association of Nigeria.
Yeah. My position is...
Okay, one moment, sir. You'll continue. But let me take another caller. Okay. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Uncle Yori. Uncle Yori, the gentleman that spoke last, I agree with him. The government should simply speak the truth. The residents in that Computer Village are not the one mounting any pressure. It's several years, if not up to 2 decades that they have been there. I know some friends that had businesses there. People that were living in the rooms there voluntarily gave up the rooms. In fact, there is one of them that the owner of the house had to come and make offerings to them. Okay. So they voluntarily left. There is nothing wrong in the government relocating the market, because if you get there, you can actually see that there is a lot of congestion and they have no room to expand. And it's an economic center that the government can cash on. So they should just give us a simple reason why they are relocating them. What the gentleman there is saying makes sense. They should be part of the developers, not being made to become tenants in the new location, because some of them have already bought properties in Computer Village. I have a neighbor who bought the house where his business is there. He bought it from the owner, and if such a person is to be relocated, you can't make him a tenant in the new location. He won't be happy. So let the government look at it in a broader sense and let them be happy. Relocating them is not a crime, but they should just simply tell us the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. And, Mr. Ojikutu, you did say that you have nothing against the relocation per se. It's just a matter of processes. You've also said that so far you've been carried along. So I imagine that details such as Mr. George has pointed out, over the years, former residential houses, they've been bought and turned to business premises. Very, very little room to expand. You see a lot of 3-story buildings emerging there. So the whole matter of moving, the matters of compensation would also be subject to negotiation as well, I imagine. Is that being mentioned, or is there a worry that they're not talking about compensation, which I can't imagine will be the case? Surely all of these things will be in the mix. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with this. Stay with us, please.
Thank you.
Welcome back. We're looking at aspects of the Lagos Model City project. We've heard from the official source, that's government. We started the program off with a statement by Mr. Steve Ayoni, the Honorable Commissioner for Information. And we have with us Comrade Adeni Ojukutu, who is president of the Computer Village and Allied Products Dealers Association of Nigeria. Now, there's a plan to move what has become a monolithic market where it is just one, it's a specialist market. Computer Village, as its name describes, you can find all sorts of computers, all sorts of cell phones, everything IT and ICT is to be found in all of that area, especially Otigba. Now, Mr. George, one of our callers, said that he doesn't see anything wrong per se with government relocating people, but it's about the processes and and you've said something similar, that you are also not necessarily against, but that the engagement that will be satisfactory is what you probably feel is lacking now. Could you explain that a bit?
Yeah, thank you. Let me give out this information. Number one, Computer Village is the largest ICT market in Africa. Computer Village is the market that has actually engaged highest number of graduates, any market in Africa or any business hub.
Including Alaba?
Alaba cannot be compared to Computer Village.
I see.
Because Computer Village requires...
Because you know Alaba, by the way, as you know, sir, Alaba moved to its current location. It was on the expressway.
I know. I'm just giving you these statistics. That Computer Village has the highest number of graduates any market in Africa.
Okay.
Computer Village is the largest ICT market in Africa. Ojikutu didn't say so. Google said so. Wikipedia said so. Anywhere in the world.
Verifiable statistics.
Verifiable statistics. And at this, the truth of the matter is, Computer Village now, what we are after is that the present location, people that are
this is actually a picture of Otigba. You know, it's a relatively easy flowing day because it can be different. It can be more. It can be much fuller. So this is a quiet. And all those buildings that you see there, for instance, the blue ones, these are new. That one looks to me like a techno building. People have invested and have taken upwards. It's the only place to expand into.
Yeah. So what the government should do, our members that are stakeholders, our colleagues, they have investments running over 300, 400 million. They have invested from the money they have made to buy property, build or whatever. But what we're saying,
even as we speak, construction is going on.
So what we request of the government has done so far. They have done well so far up to this point. Okay. But we require more.
Okay.
That moving ahead, we want our synergy, communication, information, working relationship to be tighter, so that people will not take this as, you know, a negative move on their businesses or their working capital, or at long run, if the other markets we're going to, or the plan the government is having for us, if there is no holistic approach to this from the basis, it will affect the performance of the order. So up to this point, my solution, my take is there should be more engagement with us.
Okay. One moment. We'll continue. Let me take Reverend Dominic. Good morning, Reverend Dominic. Did I lose you? I didn't keep you waiting for too long, but that must have been the network. See if you can get back in again, Reverend Dominic. You know, okay. Could you give me outlines, just sketch the broad outlines of how the level or quality of engagement could be enhanced? Because you've said that government has been carrying you along. You said you're happy with the Commissioner of Environment.
The Commissioner for Planning.
I beg your pardon, and for Commissioner for Planning.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see that it seems like government is working with the stakeholders, but you think there are areas of the way it could be heightened. Could you give the broad outlines of what the desires are?
The broad outline that we're looking at is the Katangwa project remains, some areas that will be handled by the government. When the government, while they are handling that, they need to come in, talk to our people. Okay. We need to hear directly.
Okay, a sort of counseling.
Not almost. Counseling. Because this thing has to do with the economy of our people.
Okay.
So the conviction, the understanding of each stages should go down to everybody. Whatever plan that we have, I want the smallest person in a show glass to be involved and to be carried along.
Okay, so that everybody is involved in the process of change that is going to inevitably come.
That is what I stand for.
Okay, Benga in Abuja wants to join the conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And good morning, the guest there.
Yes, Comrade Oje Adeni.
Yes, my name is Benga Dubayo from Abuja.
Okay.
I'm into ICT business.
Okay.
I'm based in Zone 3 shopping complex, which is like the computer village in Abuja here. You see, the government plan is the best thing that will happen to that business, the ICT market in Nigeria. How do I mean? Number one, infrastructurally, that place does not befit an ICT hub in Africa and in the southwest, in the western part of Africa. Because all neighboring countries come to that place to buy ICT equipment. No fiber laid out. Broadband internet connectivity is very poor there. Even the structures does not befit that name. We need a place, a smart market, where everything is ICT oriented, where people, even on the billboard, you can see items in existing. But now look at it. As a gentleman there, I patronize that place because of my business. You can't even drive your car easily. Nowhere to park vehicle. How many expatriates are patronizing that place? They have to go to the malls and the ShopRite and the rest of them. Because that place, you are even afraid that somebody will snatch your bag. Because very rough, untidy, and even the drainage, everything exposed. It does not befit that market. And number three is that it will give room for expansion. If you are there in that place, you can't bring your partner, foreign partner, to come and see where I do business. It does not befit it. Please let them do everything with the government, cooperate with the government, and they should not be shortchanged. That's my concern. The people who are there should be treated very well, given equal opportunity. It will give room for expansion, and it will bring a market boom in Nigeria. Because some people want to come and invest in Nigeria IT business, in the IT market. But because of the scenario, because of that, the scenario in that place, you could not come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in, Benga. Adeni, what do you think about Benga's submission? Especially, he's in your line of business. He says he knows the market, but look at all the reasons he gave. You probably agree with him.
I do. Sincerely. What we should look at is some of us, our children school abroad, they are schooling abroad and all that. And some of them has gone to maybe MIT, best technology universities in the world. And when they come back,
they're disappointed to find that this is the capital of computerdom.
Yeah, this is the capital of computerdom in Africa.
Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is, and for your information, Computer Village is the hardware capital of ICT in Africa.
Indeed.
Also.
Yes.
Hardware capital, that's where you get the highest number of solutions when it comes to ICT. Hardware.
Yes.
Than any other place in the whole of Africa.
But Mr. Benga mentioned the environment in which it is situated. In the US, for example, you have Silicon Valley. It has the Silicon Valley look.
Fine. Let me tell you, sir. The truth is, as it is, we're looking at a situation whereby the environment can be better. That's what we are working on. Even pending the time, we are not moving to wherever the government, they say maybe Katangwa tomorrow. We know, and I know, that eventually the change that is, that has a lot of psychological, economical feelings on us will definitely come. But it coming should not. We are not saying
jeopardize
we have
the fortunes
of our people.
Of those who are there. I understand that. Mr. Okpara in VI, good morning, sir.
Yeah, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Good morning to the comrade there.
Yeah, good morning.
Uncle Yori, we have seen the Otigba in the television. Is it the only place in that computer village that they are concerned of? Now, the houses you saw there, will it be turned to be residential area? I don't think. The government have not come out to tell us what they want to do there. Are they going to demolish the whole building? Are they going to send the whole people away and begin to rebuild? My suggestion to this government is that, please, the people have acquired that place. They should allow the few people that own that place and reduce the number of people that occupy the roads and this and let it be flowing. Let the road be flowing. And let not what happened in Oshodi happen over there. That's my comrade. Please, I pray. I beg you, talk to the government. If you people are to go there, out of that place, let it not be like Oshodi, whereby by 2 a.m., people begin to come and destroy shops and other things, loot away people's property.
Is that what happened in Oshodi?
Yes. Many people lost a lot of their properties in the name that they were giving quick notice to come on to go away. Please, let the government curtail the flow of shops and people occupying the road and leave their buildings for them, leave their property for them, and then relocate some of them to somewhere they want to.
Okay.
And not they will destroy all their businesses.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okpara. Well, Comrade Adini, we've heard that. You also spoke in favor, if the conditions are right, in favor of a purpose-built market environment. Yeah. When you, what do the Yoruba people call computers? Ayarabiasha. And these are modern times. And you will probably agree, not on anybody's one side or the other, there's something distinctly analog about Otigba, as opposed to digital that fits your image better. Otigba doesn't instantly say biggest computer market in West Africa.
Or not in West Africa, in Africa.
In Africa. Yeah. Otigba doesn't immediately say that. Conceivably, what they're thinking about now, that is the subject of conversation, of discussion, will indeed be like that, because it's going to be a purpose-built environment. And so you have nothing about that, but it seems nothing against that. It's just that you're emphasizing that every last stakeholder, you were talking about show glass. Actually, our cameraman showed us what you meant, those little mobile stores where they sell. So every little person from there to the guys who have invested hundreds of millions of naira should feel involved in the movement process. That is the concern.
That's a concern, yeah. And let me tell you, Computer Village stakeholding is as small as somebody having just a table and you have just one computer, and that computer, all he needs to do on it is to probably download Haruna Ishola or Oliver the Coke for people on their mobile phone. And they go home with as high as 10,000 every day, just downloading or transferring or unlocking phones.
So that's about proximity and access.
No,
which you say is easy, much easier in Otigba.
It's easier, number one. Number two is that businesses are that small.
Yes.
On a table, and they will have literally, small piece of table all over with just one PC and with an hard drive, and that is their business. And some of these people are graduates. So we want a situation whereby everybody will be taken along in that ecosystem. Indeed. So, and the government has said, I'm saying it once again, that it's not going to be done by fiat or force, but by engagement.
All right then. Let me hear it from Mr. Adeshina calling in from Ojo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Good morning good morning to the comrade in the studio.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, I believe what is constant in this world is change. And when one of the callers said there is need for expansion because to meet up the global standard, the world standard. And at the same time, I can reason with the comrade in the studio because it will not be good for them to be shortchanged in the process of modernize situation to modernize Lagos State and the market structures. But I will just suggest that they can come in agreement with government the big companies that you want to show us, those companies that have already, there are some companies that have already bought some buildings, and they have tried to renovate that building and make it look standard. They can let those ones to stay. Those ones on the street, there are some streets when you go through that village, you hardly even move. You queue when you are even moving those streets. So those ones, they can decongest those ones. They can come to Alaba, this is a trade fair, where they relocate some market people when they were in Lagos Island. They brought them to Ojo Road here. So there is small land at trade fair, this international trade fair we have here. They can bring some of them there so that there can be room for expansion, and also they can also renovate the areas to look more standard. So the issue has to do with compromise. Okay. The stakeholders, those who in the market and the government, they can come in agreement so that no one will be shortchanged. At the end of the day, the government is for the people, so that at the end of the day, people will not be disappointed about the government of the day. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adesina. And that seems to be, from what we've heard, first of all, hearing from the Commissioner for Information, Steve Ayonide, that is indeed the strategy of government, engaging with the people. And you have also said that has been done. If it can possibly be heightened, you guys are all for that.
We're fine.
You will be fine as long as you just don't want anybody to feel disenfranchised. And but the question is coming up. I don't know. Government, no doubt, has been thinking about that. No doubt, stakeholders have also been thinking about it. What to happen with the massive investment that has already gone into that place? I imagine, as you said, negotiations are going on, consultations are going on. Right now, there are still development constructions going on. So those are matters that will be part of further discussions, I imagine. Shola has called in. Good morning, Shola.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, comrade.
Good morning.
We really appreciate the development that is going on in Lagos now. Really appreciate the development that is going on in Lagos now. And my problem is not about the structure. My own problem is about the people that are going to be beneficiary to this structure that is being put up. You can imagine
in Katangwa.
Yes.
In the in the proposed new venue.
New computer village. This thing has been on over 7 years ago. The news is not just new to people like us. We have the information before now, over 7 years ago. But bringing it to life now is a good stuff. But my concern is those retailers, not the main dealers. Because the dealers will have the money, they will have what it entails to transform the place. But the retailers, the peddlers, those young guys that majorly depend on that market. You don't know what that market is doing to the unemployment force in Lagos State. And by the time government is doing anything, the first people they should think of is these peddlers and the so-called retailers, the guys with show glasses, those guys who hawk those stuff. These are the people that we should really begin to think of. Because Nigeria as a whole, what we work on is structure. We don't think more of the people. We only get involved with the environment, the result of the environment, forgetting the fact that the people make the environment what it is. So I pray that the state government, in a sincere sense, even some of the people who are part of the executive of the computer village, some of them might not be fair, some of them can be selfish, but I pray that, like the comrade that is seated, will be fair enough to stand and fight the cause of these young men. Because it is obvious, more markets are going to take that kind of a transition, the life of Aluminium Village, because if Oshodi could be transformed, we need to change, because those who build Lagos, those who structure Nigeria, never knew that we could be this populated at this fast pace. And we need people who can also think fast, just like the government of Lagos State, so that whatever they ask us to do, we can work together. Thank God the BRC lane is working towards that side. So the issue of trafficking.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Shola, for calling in. It looks like we've actually managed to touch base with the different facets of this particular problem. It's been handled well, I would guess, and part of the information dissemination on the whole matter for other parties who might not be, who might not understand much that has been going on. Maybe as a result of this program this morning, they're informed that, one, government is engaging with all the stakeholders, although you have said that that can be even improved upon, so that every single last person in Otigba, or so-called computer village, is aware of what's going on. And somehow, this is what negotiations are all about. When it's done at the end of the day, nobody will be losing out. Maybe, yes, the nature of change is what it is. But everything, I think you seem to agree that there's a need to do what government is doing in line with their master plan for Lagos City. It's just that there's there are always ways to do it to show that, I think, to paraphrase former President Obasanjo's thing, with a human face. That kind of a thing.
Some level of empathy.
Yes.
Yeah. While the policies are very important, but the people are much more important than the policies.
Okay. Yeah. I think I can squeeze in one last caller. Ni is calling in from Surulere. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Very good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning.
Yeah,
quickly, please. You're our last caller.
Yes, thank you. I'm a first-time caller. I'm the friend who you are talking about. The commander is my friend, my very good friend, Commander Adini Ojikutu. It is like a caller said, this Nigerian government are more interested in just building and not institutions and people. That computer village has been there for years, and these are initiatives of people that graduate, create jobs for themselves. So the government cannot just confine. There's been a line, or there's been some time that these are going to be moved. Why not carry people along? See, that's all created job for neglected people that have been neglected by the government of
I got your point, Ni. I got to interrupt you. I beg your pardon for doing so. We've run out of time. What you are saying... I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. The audio man was asleep or something. I'm sorry. The point that you make has been addressed. People are very, very, very important. And that's the part that should not be lost in all of this. I want to thank you very much, Comrade Adeni Ojikutu, President of Computer Village Allied Products Association. You so ably presented this case, and while doing so, if you allow me to say so, quite reasonably as well, telling us how government is engaging, but you think that there's room for even more improvement and even more engagement before this thing actually happens, so that nobody feels disempowered, nobody feels victimized by all of this. By the way, the idea that some favored person has been granted approval to build a new ICT mall on Simbiat Road in Ikeja, that is patent falsehood.
We give the government, 5-star for that, because that will have really caused a lot of trouble.
Indeed.
But the government was able to handle it well. They stuck to the plan of going to Katangwa, and it should be everybody.
Oh, yes. They said somebody just fed the lie, and it was bought, but all of that has been
the people are really happy about that.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ojikutu, for coming on. And that's our program for today, and indeed the week. We don't do Saturdays or Sundays, so the next time we'll see is on Monday at 10:30, God willing. I'm Yori Folani. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.